Good afternoon. This is such a beautiful way to celebrate a Sunday afternoon. My name is Peggy Ingalls Blazing, and I was the gold band sponsor for the band in 1955. Thank you. And this is what we did. So now I'm going to tell you a little bit about what you just heard. The Overture to Beatrice and Benedict by Hector Berlitz-Oss consists of 3 movements contrasting comedy and romance in an interesting manner, and moves from one movement to the next without pause. The first movement, with its gay scherzo-like rhythm, is of light nature, in keeping with the subject matter of the opera. The second movement is somewhat slow and sustained, and is of romantic content. The third, an alla breve allegro, is definitely related to the thematic material of the first movement. This movement is developed to quite some extent in the manner of questions and answers, or in other words, a musical conversation between the various voices and sections of the band. This method is characteristic of the father of modern orchestration. Joliet West director Kevin Carroll has conducted this beautiful selection.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brett Uffelman. I have the pleasure and honor of being the president of the Band Alumni Association. Thank you. Looking out at this audience, it's much more than I had ever imagined. I don't think I've seen this hall this full in a very, very long time. Thank you all for coming. When we started talking about this, 10 years ago, and really started planning for it 2 years ago, we never really expected things to grow to this proportion. We have 150 plus musicians on stage, and we had 100 or more than 200 at a celebratory dinner last night. That is a testament to a band program that has spanned the test of time and music education and how important it is to everyone. I have a question of curiosity. Can I ask all the band alumni in the audience and on stage to stand? There's a reason I asked to do that. I was curious, and I wanted everybody to see how many folks have come from all over the country for this event. I know you've probably seen some of the proclamations in the program book. We received something like 12 or 13 of them, and one just came this past week that Mike Fisk gave to me on Friday afternoon, which absolutely floored me. I want to read that to you right now. It reads, "Dear friends, please accept my sincere congratulations to the Joliet Township High School Band as it celebrates its 100th anniversary. Music has always been a long-standing part of American culture, and the Joliet Township High School Band's commitment to tradition is truly admirable. Since 1912, your band has dedicated time, skill, and passion to musical excellence and has become an example for many of our nation's musical organizations. You should all be very proud. Again, congratulations on 100 years of musical excellence. I hope that the Joliet Township High School Band continues to play long into the future. Sincerely, Joseph R. Biden, Jr., Vice President of the United States." It's a testament to everything that everyone has done here. I hope you enjoy the program. I'll be up again a little bit later for a few other remarks, and I'll turn it back over to the next sponsor. Thank you all for coming again.
Hello, everyone. My name is Janice Fitzhenry. I cannot tell you what a thrill and an honor it was for me to be the Blue Band sponsor of the great class of 1962. Thank you. Showboat is a monumental American classic and a revolutionary masterpiece of the lyric stage. With Hammerstein and Kern's groundbreaking work on the production, a new art form emerged in the American musical theater. For the first time, visionary writers dared to integrate music, humor, libretto, lyrics, and decor into a single artistic entity. Arguably, this approach left the traditions of the American musical comedy and Viennese operetta behind, giving birth to the first musical play. Ted Liga, director emeritus, and a member of the class of '62, I might add, takes the podium to conduct this wonderful arrangement by Howard Cable. Selections from Showboat include the memorable American standards, Why Do I Love You, Can't Help Lovin' That Man, Make Believe, and Old Man River. Enjoy.
Hello, I'm Helen Freaky Nordstrom, and I was proud and honored to serve as Blue Band sponsor in 1964. I have very fond memories of the piece you'll hear next, Bugler's Holiday. It's probably motivated more trumpet players to learn or improve the art of double tonguing than any other piece of music. Although the holiday is relatively uncomplicated harmonically, the performers are given the opportunity to show what they can do with the articulations and bell tones and proper balance of each part. Above all, it's fun to play, and I might add, fun to hear. Our trumpet trio today will feature Carlo Isabelli, Miles Singleton, and Don Stenson. Our central band director, Mike Fisk, will conduct.
Good afternoon. My name is Nancy Holmquist Butcher, and to this day I am thankful and honored to have served as the Gold Band sponsor at Joliet Central, class of 1970, which was also Ted Liga's first year after being handed the baton by Bruce Hausnecht. Drawing musical inspiration from the awe-inspiring snow-covered peaks of the Rocky Mountains, Richard Saucedo has composed an invigorating work for concert band that is energetic, contemporary, and uplifting. At times, it is sensitive and delicate with soloistic passages, then incessantly rhythmic and powerful. The scoring includes an important part for piano, as well as expanded parts for mallet percussion. Kevin Carroll has selected this piece for today's program as an excellent representation of the new band repertoire of the 21st century, having recently programmed this work with his symphonic band at Joliet West.
Hello, my name's Ann Lieb, and I had the honor of serving as the gold band sponsor for Joliet West in 1977. Salvation is Created by Chesnikov is a fine representation of the choral literature of the Russian Orthodox Church. This arrangement, penned by Bruce Hausneck, has become a standard in the literature for concert band and is certain to remain one for many years. It is performed today as a fitting tribute to the wonderful career of Mr. Hausneck. Many of the alumni participating on stage today were fortunate to perform under his baton.
I think it's on. We have a couple of special guests today with us, and before we play this piece, I'd like to ask Deborah and Jeannie to come up on stage. I think they have a couple of things they'd like to say. These are two daughters of Mr. Hausneck.
Thank you all. I'm so glad that my sister Jeannie Sanders is able to be with us today. My sister Nancy, who lives in California, was unable to make it. And I'd like to introduce you to my husband, John Toland, who played baritone horn in the Waco High School Band. JB? I would like everyone who played under my father and the sponsors to please stand. I would like to thank you from the bottom of my heart for having the talent and love of music that enabled my father to have the best job in the world. Thank you.
Isn't this a wonderful program? I need to take an opportunity to offer a number of thank yous to a large group of people. Chuck, could you bring the house lights up for me? Thanks. Events like this don't happen without an immense amount of planning. We've put hundreds of hours over the last 2 years and the last 2 weeks to put all this together. There are several groups I want to recognize. First is the Band Alumni Board. Mr. Gene DeVecchio, Vice President. Megan Gonzalez, Secretary. Where's Megan? Jan Uffelman, Treasurer. Mary Beth Bekich, Board Member. Brett Markham, Board Member. Doug Kaiser, Board Member. And Art Perez, Board Member. These folks are the reason this event is taking place, or one of the reasons I really should say. It wouldn't be taking place without 2 other groups. First of those 2 groups is the JTHS administration. They've been so supportive in getting this event planned and doing anything and everything for us, from offering services to making sure we had everything we needed. I want to take the opportunity. I know Dr. Cheryl McCarthy is here. Cheryl, where are you? Back in the back. Thank you, Cheryl. I don't know, is Carla Guzman in the house? Carla? Unfortunately, she's not able to be with us this afternoon. I saw Rich Pagliaro, the business manager, assistant superintendent for business and personnel. Where are you, Rich? Thank you, Rich. John Randich is in the house as well. John is the principal at Central Campus. I know I saw Brian Shaw up in the balcony. Thank you for everything, Brian. Dr. Jennifer Ray. Is Jen with us? And from the West Campus, Dr. Teresa Gibson. And Mr. Jeff Clinton and Mr. Shad Hallahan. As you take a look around, everything in this room is looking beautiful, wouldn't you agree? The custodial maintenance staff have worked hard, I understand, this past week, replacing light bulbs, making sure the seats are all in proper working order for us today. I want to thank Larry Everett, the building supervisor, Chuck Ball for doing lights and sound, and Jonathan Crowder, the custodial supervisor, for putting all of this together. There is one other group I didn't think to mention, although I have it written down here. Those are our sponsors, and not you ladies down here, unfortunately. This is the group of people who have donated their money and their ads in the program book to help us defray the cost of this concert. Please take note of them, and if you have the opportunity to patronize their services, we couldn't have done that without them and your donations. There's one other group of people with us this afternoon. I've had the pleasure for the last about 15 months of working with the Joliet Historical Museum staff to put the Strike Up the Band exhibit together. There are some representatives outside to my right, your left, at a table with some information about the exhibit. Please visit them, find out what they have to say, and they're also starting to talk about their annual gala, for which the band program has been nominated as their Dream Maker of the Year. So thank you to them for everything they've done to help forward the band movement.
afternoon. My name is Laura Estler Cambick, and I had the privilege and honor of being the black band sponsor for the Joliet West High School class of 1981. The Stars and Stripes Forever is by far the most popular march ever written, and its popularity is by no means limited to the United States. It is a patriotic American march, widely considered to be the magnum opus of composer John Philip Sousa. By act of Congress, it is the national march of the United States of America. It has long been a favorite program piece for Joliet band audiences. A.R. McAllister and Mr. Sousa enjoyed a special friendship. Mr. McAllister patterned his Joliet High School band after the famed band of Sousa. We include its performance today as a tribute to the special friendship enjoyed by these two great pioneers of the American band movement.
the alumni band, brothers of the McAllister Band. 20-minute intermission, the other band will be in. And at the end, they'll be together playing Steelman.
That was beautiful. Conductor Leonard Slatkin described Ron Nelson as the quintessential American composer. Dr. Nelson is yet another prized alumnus of Joliet Township High School and the Joliet Band, having received his first training in composition from his high school band director, Bruce Hausneck. Fanfare for his celebration has been included in the Centennial Celebration Concert as a salute to Ron Nelson and a significant contribution to the repertoire of the modern wind band movement. It's written in the ABA form and began with a theme derived from the keys of the 9 Beethoven symphonies. A lyrical B section was also presented in contrast before the return of the opening fanfare, and again, it was beautiful. I am Kristen Hamilton, Kristen Repco Hamilton, and I was the 1981 Gold Band sponsor for Joliet West under Director Dean Sales. And I just have to say what a gift it was to be given an honorary membership to a band family, this band family, because it's not just the band of your year or your 4 years in high school, it is this, which is an honor. So thank you very much.
We got our signals crossed just a little bit. I got so excited when they were going to play a 1955 selection, it just kind of blew me away. The American Overture for Band was composed in 1955 to feature the virtuosity of the horn section of the United States Army Field Band. The work utilizes both Lydian and Mixolydian modes, and beyond the technical demands required by the horn section, the overture requires proficiency in double-tonguing technique by many sections. Beyond articulation, rhythm and accents provide momentum from beginning to end. The work can best be understood by identifying the principal theme introduced by the horn section and relative motives that are intertwined throughout and unify the work. The work remains as standard repertoire among today's high school and university bands.
Hello again, everyone. My name is Gene DeVecchio, and I'm a graduate of JT Central, class of '74. I had the privilege of being among another group of people who I'd like to acknowledge here today. I was drum major my junior and senior years here. So I'd like the house lights up, please. And if you were a drum major in any of the campuses over the past 100 years, and you're here, stand up, please. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. In a few moments, I'm here to introduce two special individuals who are our newest band alumni members. And before I do that, I want to do one more thing with the house lights up here, please. And that is, I'd like, again, for all the alumni to stand, all the alumni band members to stand. Please, everyone, audience. Okay, here's what we're going to do. If you graduated after the year 2000, please sit down. Year 2000 and later, sit down, please. 1990s, sit down. 80s, 70s, 60s, 50s. 40s. Okay, there he is, Mr. Bob Moore, Opus. And we have two others. Mr. Bear. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. You can be seated, please. I want to speak just a few moments about some of the things that the Band Alumni Association has done. Some people may not know this, but as you know, we've been in business for 10 or 11 years, and it's been a joy for me to be associated with this group. A couple things we do on a regular basis is we donate money to each of the bands on a yearly basis. We have fundraising events. We participate in a pep band yearly at both campuses. We throw a pizza party. So we're just pleased to be able to be in that situation to do that. And without any further ado, I would like to now move to the important message about our newest band members, band alumni members, our scholarship recipients. As you know, there's an article in the program today that talks about the Centennial Scholarship. When the band alumni started looking at this, about as much as 4 years ago, the section, when it was requested that we look at a scholarship, we all looked at each other and said, how are we ever going to do that? And with a lot of discussions about various ways to do that, we came up with some fundraising events, bowling events, 50-50 raffles, and then it became clear that we wanted to really do something for the Centennial. We opened the donations to all of our alumni base, and we received a number of very generous donations. One that put us over the top, and I need to acknowledge Mr. Jeremy No. That donation, along with the donations of all of our alumni and friends, is what allowed us to present our Centennial Scholarship, and that is what we're so proud to be able to do. We've named it, of course, the Centennial to commemorate our 100th year, and we hope to do this yearly. So without further ado, let me introduce our Centennial Scholarship winners. On the stage, Miss Cynthia Stacy from Joliet Central. Class. And I'm told he's here, Mr. Michael Holloway from JT West. Are you out here, Michael? There you are. And just a little bit more, of course, we had these students do performance, and there was an interview, And I think that some of our interview judges are in the audience. Mr. Lewis, Jerry Lewis from, Jerry Lewis, where are you? Up in the auditorium. George Perard, we want to thank you. And we also want to thank Chuck Morgan for your support. Chuck's here? Chuck, where are you? There you are. Okay, thank you. And George Perard, I'm sorry if I missed you. There's a lot of people out here. The last thing I would like to just mention, please, is that we do want to give this scholarship yearly. We think we can do it, especially with the generosity of donations from people like you. Clearly, we have a lot of supporters out here that think the band is important to not only our generations, but every generation that follows. And we have some donation canisters out at the front. If each of you put $1 into that canister today, we would be able to give out another scholarship, and we'd love to see that. We want to do this yearly, and we think we can do it. So without further ado, we'll move on. And I just wanted to say that the alumni band here also would like to acknowledge and the fact that we had so many members that weren't able to attend today. And so this next piece, which will be introduced by one of our sponsors in just a minute, and I'm talking about the sponsors down here, will be in honor of everyone that, all of our alumni that are either deceased or were unable to make today's concert.
Irish Tune from County Derry is based on a tune collected by Miss J. Ross of Newtown, Lamavady, County Derry, Ireland, and published in the Petrie Collection of Ancient Music of Ireland, known to many as Danny Boy. This beautiful setting of the ancient Irish air was written by Percy Grainger in 1909, dedicated to the memory of the great Norwegian composer Edvard Grieg. This composition has been a favorite in the band repertoire for decades. Born in Melbourne, Australia, Percy Grainger began his career as a concert pianist in 1900 with sensational successes in such widely separated places as England, Australia, and South Africa. He became a United States citizen in 1919 and for some time was professor of music and head of the music department at New York University.
next selection from the Armenian Dances, Part 1, was completed in the summer of 1972 by Alfred Reed and first performed at the University of Illinois Symphonic Band on January 10, 1973. The piece is dedicated to Dr. Harry Beejan, the director of that ensemble. Dr. Beejan was a special friend and mentor to Ted Liga, and during his years as director of his revered Joliet Central Symphonic Bands, the musical passion, the lyrical melodic content, and the rhythmic excitement of the Armenian folk melodies are characteristic of the wonderful performances of Mr. Liga's bands at Joliet Central. Many members of Mr. Liga's award-winning band sit on the stage today as the band performs highlights from the Armenian dances.
Our next number, Strike Up the Band, is the title song for a musical interpretation of George S. Kaufman's satire about a proud American owner of a cheese factory who is outraged when Switzerland protests a tariff on imported cheese and convinces the U.S. government to declare a war that he would finance. George and Ira Gershwin saw this as an opportunity to write in the style of Gilbert and Sullivan. The 1927 production never made it out of Philadelphia, as political satire at that time was a hard sell, even in an operetta style. However, the inevitable boy meets girl story did produce the classic love song, The Man I Love.
Giuseppe Verdi's opera La Forza del Destino, The Force of Destiny, opened in November 1862, but it was only moderately successful. Verdi revised the opera in 1868, and it was from this revision that the work is known today. The overture is a symphonic treatment of music heard within the opera, which masterfully sets the stage for tragic events which are to follow. This classic Italian opera overture transcription is representative of performances by concert bands of the early 20th century and a standard of the band repertoire.
The St. Louis Blues was first published in Memphis, Tennessee on September 11, 1914. The chorus was taken from Handy's earlier Joe-Go Blues, a pioneering publication in 12-bar blues form. Excuse me. It helped to formalize the classical blues and was sung by all the leading singers. It has been adapted for virtually every kind of musical ensemble and is truly a classic standard of American music. Jerry Gray joined Glenn Miller as a full-time arranger and contributed many of the band's most popular arrangements, including Pennsylvania 6-5000, String of Pearls, and the St. Louis Blues. Gray served with Miller in his Army Air Force Orchestra and took over as its leader when Miller was killed in 1944. This St. Louis Blues March was a signature piece of the Joliet Township Band and was performed in concert, on the football field, and in parades, quite often at the Riverview Band Contest in Chicago.
Before Mr. Carroll comes out, I'd just like to take a moment to say a couple of words. I promise, Nancy, it'll only be a couple. First thing I want to do is I want to wish my wife a happy birthday. Okay? There's something about being a band director's wife, and when you have the concert on your birthday, you go to the concert. But wherever you are, Nancy, happy birthday. I just want to thank everyone for coming out today and for the showing of support and emotion that there's been for this event is just so characteristic of how the city of Joliet loves this band. And it's just, it's so overwhelming for myself, I know, but for all of us on stage and those in the audience that have been on stage to see the auditorium filled like this. Thank you so much for coming out today. I have had a wonderful experience here since coming over to Joliet Central and having had the opportunity to follow one of my dearest friends and one of my career mentors, Mr. Liga, and hoping that I can continue to do the tradition justice. I've got a wonderful group of kids here at Joliet Central that are working their hearts out to keep this thing going and live up to this wonderful tradition. But it's a privilege and an honor for me to do this and to be part of this. So thank you all for coming today, and I do apologize for my clumsiness in front of the announcement there. But thanks to everyone, and we hope that you're enjoying this wonderful celebration. Thanks.
Well, everybody, you're in for a powerful treat. Here's all 45 of the members in the two bands. That, of course, we had to divide because couldn't get 50 on stage, and it worked out wonderfully. And both bands, we pretty much got the job done on dividing them into great talent in both. And, well, there's just so much talent, that was pretty easy to do. So while they're getting set, there was a student reminded me about something I said a dozen or so years ago. So I tried to remember what it was, but I wrote down, and I think I know. But it kind of pertains to the band and its history, too. So I'll try my scribblings. I just did it. The common thread that exists in the thousands of alumni that have played with the Joliet High School bands are loyalty, dedication, devotion, its history, and that all-important word, perseverance. For it is the very time when, and this is the band's, when the music seems too difficult to play, too almost impossible, that we grow as human beings, passing through that time, persevering to our goals. And these things truly have been the Joliet High School band's past, it's Joliet High School band's present, and surely will be its future. So, congratulations, guys.
So we are in for a treat, and I have a little background information on what's going to happen next. Joliet's 24th annual concert, and I'll let you do the math on what year that was, featured the premiere performance of the March of the Steelmen by Charles S. Belsterling. Belsterling, who later became Vice President of the United States Steel Corporation, heard the Joliet Band perform at the Steel Corporation offices in New York and at Radio City Music Hall. When conversing with Joliet businessmen, they became aware of his composition background and asked him to send a composition. Upon receiving the piece, Mr. McAllister studied it and found it possessed much merit. McAllister then engaged Henry Alford to arrange the piece for full symphonic band. On April 28, 1937, the Joliet Band performed the piece for a dinner concert at the Joliet Country Club for civic and business leaders with the composer present. After hearing the premiere performance, Belsterling renamed the piece March of the Steelmen that evening.
One other thing I was told by Bruce Hausnick, my band director, was that when this idea from the guy from Belsterling brought in to McAllister, it was written in waltz time, like this. Hey, you could waltz to that. That's what Hausnick said, and if he said it, that's what happened. So he took it to Harry Alford, and Alford really wrote the march based on those waltz tunes he just heard, waltz notes. I should check with my dance band, maybe. But anyway, here's what you can do.
the loyalties in order of Joliet East, Joliet West, Joliet South.